This is, like I said, very much a mess right now because it's still being built. Yesterday I had a pallet full of furniture come in, so we got some of that put together last night. This is Topeka's largest whiteboard. This is sort of a creative lounge sponsored by Jones Hewitt Partners. The idea is that if you want to hash out a problem and you want creative solutions, rather than trying to lock people out and go in a room and shut the door, why not, invite everybody that walks by and again try and get that mixing of opinions, get the different ideas and include people in the discussion rather than trying to say I want to come up with this on my own. So here on the floor we have some bags of furniture that needs to be put together. So we're working on that. Over here we have our, gosh, I have not had enough coffee to do this tour. I'm glad I know that you're going to be cutting this out. So over here is our co-workspace. The idea is that if you drop in just like on a gym membership, you can plop down and use whatever desk you want, use whatever space you need, whatever resources you need, and then when you're gone, just clean up after yourself. We have a boardroom here that can host up to about 28 people. I don't know if you want to get a shot of this. I'll kind of show the table and show the chairs in here so it looks pretty. But we got this, so if somebody wants to have a larger meeting, they can do that. We're also planning on hosting some Shark Tank style pitch events later in the year in conjunction with Washburn University and the Chamber of Commerce's EMBD. We also have this guy, which is my favorite piece of equipment in the space. Forgive all the fingerprints, but this is actually a 70-inch touchscreen smartboard. So that's cool. It's actually just a regular computer, but you can draw on whatever is up on the screen. So, like I could pull up YouTube right now, and then play a little video, and then pause it, and actually hit the button and start drawing out over whatever. So here I can just do. I think it's this one. Nope, that's the actual. There we go. So see, and then I can just kind of circle whatever's on the screen, and it does this cool thing where it recognizes when you've got your hand on it, so you can just kind of erase like that. I think it's neat. So anyway, there's that. Come back here. I've got a couple quote-unquote private offices, but part of what's unique about the way we view a private office is most people say, an office is for locking people out. An office in this case is my creative way of locking people in together. If I see two people that would work really well together, what better way to get them to partner than to make them sit beside each other? So we've already done that over here. Nikki has Embercher Consulting. I can let her tell you about what she does, but there's another person in this office who's getting moved in, I believe, later today, who has a similar business, and they decided that they actually wanted to team up. So we've already got more people, working together than we had before. So, any questions so far? Okay.
I don't think so.
Stunned silence is what I was going for. So, okay, ignore my desk. This is a break room. I'm still trying to find a sponsor for the break room. This is about. Oh, the lid on the coffee pot open. The idea behind the break room is this is the demarcation between the coworker side of things and the makerspace side of things. We want this to be a place where people can hang out. I'm going to get a couple couches in here, a TV, cable, Xbox, PlayStation, whatever. To where people can actually relax. We're going to have a vending machine, that doesn't just sell snacks and sodas and things like that, but it also will sell components and electronics and materials for stuff you want to do in the makerspace, so people won't have to leave to get whatever resources they need. We're also going to have, as soon as I get it moved in, my favorite piece of furniture. That's actually my personal pinball machine, but it turns out my wife said that it would be better down here than in our basement. So yeah, so we've got that. Again, I apologize about the mess. This is, although it does not resemble it right now, this is what we're calling the clean and quiet side of the Cox Makerspace. Cox obviously wrote us a big check for the namesake honor. The idea is that if you are wanting to do something and it is not big, loud, and dirty, then you can do it in here. We're going to have a couple computer stations where you can do computer-aided modeling and computer-aided drafting. We're going to have an electronics workbench. If you want to build a prototype, you want to build circuit boards, solder stuff, desolder stuff, take a piece of electronics equipment that you bought and dissect it and figure out how it works. We're going to have the equipment to help you do that. If you're interested in messing with computer networks or servers, we're going to have those kind of resources. If you're interested in doing Textiles. We're actually going to have a textiles lab in here. I'm trying to see if I can afford a long arm quilter as one of the pieces that I'm looking at. So digital embroidery, sewing. We're also going to have some more industrial sewing machines that can do like rubber and Kevlar, some of those space age materials. So that's what we've got over here. And then, you know, I told you this is clean and quiet. This is the opposite. This is loud and dirty. So again, still a lot of work to do, but this is, our goal is to have every big tool imaginable that someone could want and might not be able to afford themselves. Part of my mission is to empower people. Well, if someone can go down and buy a hammer, you know, that's not my #1 priority. But as it turns out, you know, if you're doing something on the shop bot or with the table saw, you might need a hammer. So the goal is to offer those big staple pieces of equipment that draw people in, and then just kind of offer the infill pieces in between. So we've got a really nice saw-stop table saw, DeWalt chop saw, every hand tool you could imagine, a bench grinder, a shop bot. This is a computer-controlled milling machine that will cut out whatever shape you want out of basically any material you want, be that cloth or rubber sheeting or vinyl or even wood or some light-grade metals. You just turn the thing on and program it to say, I want it to cut out this shape, and it will do that for you, so that's pretty cool. Bandsaw, drill press, planer, power tools, air compressor, bench vise. And then back here, we're still building this. I apologize about the mess. This is our special tools room. So in here, we actually have, and again, I apologize about the mess, but this is our Epilog 75-watt carbon dioxide laser cutter. The other day, we had an event, and I just took a piece of wood off of a pallet and decided I was going to burn our logo. So this will not just engrave, it will cut. But as it turns out, when you really crank the power up to cut through something like this, you've got to have a little more active ventilation and something called an air assist hooked up to it. We don't have that hooked up yet, so we're not quite cutting stuff with it yet. So there's that, and then I can kind of drag you around here, and I can show you our classroom. And this is where I give the, this is where I give the inspirational message. So I still need to get a lot of furniture brought in here, and in case you can't tell right now, this is where I'm hiding some of the ugly bits that we don't know where they have a home yet, like our leftover ceiling tiles. So this is going to be our classroom. Once a month, we're going to have a paid class that people can pay to attend. The instructor will be compensated for teaching it, and the idea is that we're going to offer non-traditional learning for anybody that wants it in our community. If you are interested in learning computer programming, you're interested in learning about, you know, some woodworking techniques, if you're interested in learning how to solder and do electronics, or you want to know, you know, what are some accounting principles that I need to apply to my business. The idea is we're going to be 0 to 60 in a couple days over the course of a month. We really want to teach people something where they have some power with some knowledge. The story I tell is, you're in the news, I'm sure you've heard of this Philae lander, the robot that, you know, we put it on top of a rocket and launched it at 18,000 miles an hour. It orbited the planet, slingshot around the moon, around the Earth, around the moon, got up to about 50, 60,000 miles an hour, did a gravity assist off of Mars and shot it out into the outer solar system, and it actually rendezvoused with a comet, orbited the comet. They said hitting this thing was like shooting the head of a pin from 4 miles away with a BB gun. And then once they got there, they actually dropped a robot down on it to collect samples and do science and all sorts of stuff. Super cool, super complicated mission, right? About 15 people did that. 15 people. So build the robot, launch it. There's contractors and help and stuff involved, but the idea is, you know, this is not something that is outside the realm of possibility of what you can do. The only difference between any of us and those guys is that they said, you know what, I need access to the right tools, which we're trying to offer, and they live in a culture that says, let's share knowledge and work together. And that's what we're hoping to start in Topeka, is that culture of sharing knowledge and working together. As it turns out, they live in the same world we do. They are bound by the same laws of physics that say it's hard to shoot rockets around the moon. They live in the same, society with our government and our economy and all of these factors that affect people. But we're all united in that we're all kind of bound by the same rules of operation. And what I'm hoping to do is just help people see that they can do anything they can dream. So that's my inspirational message. Sorry, I haven't had very much coffee, so I'm not giving it quite as passionately.